Hello everybody, welcome to the True Life News Show. Today, guys, it's finally happening. This is a huge, shocking update, but thankfully, guys, this is a big step forward in the holding of the Biden administration accountable, as well as Anthony Fauci accountable for what happened during the COVID pandemic during 2020, 2021, 2022, everything that happened, guys. We've officially opened up the door and the investigations have started. Our girl Tulsi Gabbard, director of the National Intelligence Agency, has just announced that they have enough evidence to prosecute Fauci and Biden officials for their involvement with the spread of all the manipulation, the COVID-19 virus, everything, guys. This is huge. But we finally are taking a big, huge step. The Trump team is making it happen when it comes to holding these people accountable, shining the light on them, because not only was there a lot of manipulation that happened under the Biden administration, there was a lot of wasteful taxpayer spending. Their taxpayer dollar spending, guys. They spent so much money, no accountability. Money was being handed out left and right. And Tulsi Gabbard says, we already have the evidence, guys. I cannot wait to show you this because this is accountability at its best. And with the help of Doge, Elon Musk, and the rest of the team, we have been able to find all the evidence needed to hold these people accountable. So Tulsi Gabbard is going after the Biden officials and Anthony Fauci. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Are you ready to see somebody in some handcuffs? Also, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are, guys, I'm telling you, Mike Johnson, I just don't got it, guys, with this dude. So Elon Musk, Donald Trump are meeting with Mike Johnson and three of the top House Republicans who at the White House to discuss the big bill that's full of all the legislative priorities. We're talking about no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, the Doge incentive, Doge checks, all these things that we've been waiting for. They're now at the White House discussing this, and two of the most powerful House committees haven't even met yet to draft the core legislation that Trump wants to have with what I just said. So they're meeting today. They're jumping on Mike Johnson's butt saying, what the heck have y'all been doing? You just took a 2-week vacation. You don't even have the core of the legislation that we need. And that's why you moved the date from May to July 4th. Guys, it's coming out. Speaker Johnson is coming out and just letting us know he's not going to cut it, guys. We got so much evidence of what needs to be cut, but he's afraid to hold people accountable and actually make the cuts to this wasteful spending. Let me know your thoughts about Mike Johnson in the comment section, guys. I'm telling you, we need a new speaker. And guys, I can't believe we actually have the evidence to show you in just a moment, but leave it to the Democrats to take something like protest, like what it's supposed to be for, and politicize it outright. We now have the people who have actually been paying these protesters has come on live on air and said, hey, you get paid to be on a news show, right? Why can't we pay people to protest? They literally have no filter right now. You got people that are literally living off the government now being paid to protest the government who's actually paying them for their entire living so that they don't even have to work. It is so backwards. It's such a bad part in America that needs to be fixed, but we actually have the evidence now, and Trump says we have to do something about it. We cannot have billionaires funding these terrorist protests that are going around damaging things, damaging buildings, and making all kinds of disruption in our daily American lives that just want to live normal lives. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, over paid protest. This is insane. Got a ton of breaking news to go over today, guys. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our viewers. Guys, thank you so much to all of our subscribers. We couldn't do it without you. And if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, guys. We want you here. Come on over. Join us so that we can take care of you with the top news every single day. Want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel and everybody that's given a super chat donation, guys. Want to say we are so grateful for your support. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor, hitting that thumbs up like button. And also, too, Look at the down below this video, guys. We got just a limited number of our real American t-shirts that are almost sold out, guys. We just got a few left. And once we sell out, we ain't selling them no more, guys. So grab you a t-shirt. Remember, portion of these sales is going to our charities that we donate to every single month. Guys, we got Tulsi Gabbard. We got Elon Musk. We got Donald Trump, who are finally holding these people accountable, and it's about dang time, guys. I'm so ready for this, guys. Check this out.
Remember when Elon asked every bureaucrat to send him a list of things they did last week? Well, Trump held a cabinet meeting and asked, what'd you do in the first 100 days?
Your DOJ agencies have seized more than 22 million fentanyl pills.
The border is 99.99% safe, under control.
What we have seen since your election and the inauguration has been nothing short of a recruiting renaissance. We're reinforcing standards. We're going to be fit, not fat.
The CIA provided the intelligence that led to the apprehension of the Abbey bomber.
Over the past 100 days, we are already making America healthy again.
Energy costs have plummeted. Mortgage rates are down. Food costs are moving lower.
I'm not sure if anyone's heard, but the price of eggs is down.
Let's go.
It's nice to see the president hosting cabinet meetings instead of the first lady.
Instead of the first lady.
Morale is high and drama's low, except for when RFK doged Marco's Doritos.
Because of Secretary Kennedy, I'm afraid to eat anything. So,
At least in front of him.
he said Tootsie Rolls are okay in moderation.
Tootsie, Rubio was on a roll.
This president inherited 30 years of foreign policy that was built around what was good for the world. In essence, the decisions we made as a government in trade and foreign policy was basically, is it good for the world? Is it good for the global community? And under President Trump, we're making a foreign policy now that's, was it good for America?
America, baby.
RFK's been busy too, finding the kids Biden lost.
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we've ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
Guys, how many times did you ever hear the Biden administration even talk about these 300,000 missing children? This is accountability. When you have the leaders in the room talking about what needs to be said and letting everybody know, hey, we're gonna find these kids, guys. We're gonna make sure that they're safe. It blows my mind that whenever we had our cabinet meetings with Biden, you always saw his wife, the first lady, at the head of the table calling the shots, guys. Is this not what America needs right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'm telling you, it breaks my heart every time I see or hear about this 300,000 missing children.
You'd think Biden could have sniffed these kids out himself, but he never tried. And you heard that right. The Biden administration was a vector for child sex trafficking. Someone needs to go to prison.
Yes.
Trump's happy with his team. He gave them all Gulf of America hats as little party favors. Elon took 2.
Elon, I love the double hat, by the way. He's the only one that can do that. Get away with it.
Well, Mr. President, they say I wear a lot of hats.
That's true.
Even my hat has a hat.
We have an exclusive interview with Elon Musk.
Respect and appreciate you, and this whole room can say that very strongly. You've really been a tremendous help. You opened up a lot of eyes as to what can be done, and we just want to thank you very much. And you're invited to stay as long as you want. And at some point, I guess he wants to get back home to his car.
Because again, guys, we now know that Elon Musk is pretty much out right now of the Doge team. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I hope that they continue it like they have been. He says that they will. Elon Musk is still going to be working 1 to 2 days with Trump at the White House, going to be traveling back and forth. He's still maintaining his office at the White House because he says again, too, until Trump leaves office, I'm not going to stop helping. Talk about a true patriot. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, we're getting the presidency and the cabinet that America deserves, these people at this table.
Doge saved us $160 billion and counting. And there's still entire departments being slimmed down.
I don't think I have ever worked so hard to try to fire myself. We're certainly making great strides in that. We've reduced the folks over at the Department of Education by about 50% now.
Wow.
The first 100 days have been so historic, the New York Times put out a front page to match. Look at that. There have never been 100 days like this. And they're right about that. And the media is going to seduce you with polls to say Trump's unpopular. But these are the same polls that told you Kamala would win Iowa. The country has no regrets. If the election was held again, the media's same silly polls say Trump would still beat her. The country.
Guys, and you know why, guys? Is because of this one I'm showing you on the screen. They're not holding back right now. This came out, guys, this morning. Anthony Fauci could face perjury charges as DNI Tulsi Gabbard assembles a team to investigate the origins of COVID-19. Gabbard pointed out that this may be why Fauci received a preemptive presidential pardon from Joe Biden on January 20th, 2025, just hours before Biden left office. They were trying to cover their tracks, guys, but let me tell you this. I've already seen it where they say it doesn't matter that Biden pardoned them because they know that Biden wasn't the actual person that pardoned them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is accountability. This is what we voted for.
Elected a man to knock over the table, and that's the phase we're in now. And soon we'll reset the table. Salad, dinner, dessert, fork.
We're turning it around. It's a big ship to turn around, and we're going to have the greatest country financially in the history of the world, I believe. I think we're going to do things that, and we had to do it. We reset the table.
The pundits are panicking, but what do the people think?
I think he's amazing. I believe he's a man of his word. And I really like that because I had given up on politics.
I've been very pleasantly surprised with what he's doing for the country.
Guys, this is on CBS, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Irvin Light, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. And thank you so much, Melissa Sadler, who said, I hope they all go to jail. And thank you so much, David Sterling, for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show David and Melissa and Irvin some love in the chat.
He's got a really good cabinet.
We're going in the right direction. If these jobs are not here, what happens when everything that we have is outsourced? And that is exactly what has been going on for decades. He's looking to bring it back. If President Trump is watching this, I love you dearly.
Signature American companies like Ford love what they're seeing.
Ford is really different. We make 80% in the U.S., more than any other manufacturing. We think this is really great.
That's a lie. He said 80% in the U.S. Guess what? Tesla is 100% in the U.S.
For the country. We really support the president's initiative. This is the right thing to do. We really appreciate the dialogue we've had with the president, but we have a lot more work to do with him and the team.
Today, CEOs of the biggest companies in the world packed into the White House to celebrate the manufacturing boom. Money is pouring in.
The companies represented in this room have collectively announced more than $2 trillion in new investments, and we have a total of close to $8 trillion all told.
Let's go,
Today, first
baby.
quarter GDP came out flat. But even the New York Times called it a statistical fluke. The market shrugged it off. Regular folks don't live and die by GDP. And Trump's confident the golden age will shine. He's so confident, he sat down with a guy who hates him, Terry Moran. Who's Terry Moran?
Nobody knows.
Exactly. He's a third stringer at ABC. Stephanopoulos was not available because he slandered 47 and cost his bosses $15 million in damages. And David Muir moderated the last debate so poorly, he was out. So Moran was the man. Not really.
They're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice.
Terry had a lot to prove, but it didn't work out for him. He played the same old games ABC always plays.
Always
they
the
want a
same.
scalp. Pete's.
We had a good talk. He's a talented guy. He's young. He's smart, highly educated, and I think he's going to be a very good defense, hopefully a great defense secretary, but he'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in
I don't have
Peterson.
100% confidence in anything. Okay, anything. Do I have 100%? It's a stupid question. Look,
it's a pretty important position.
No. You don't have 100%. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
What?
These gotcha questions don't really work on Trump. He's been in the gauntlet for a decade, and confrontation actually ups his game. Terry didn't do his homework, and it showed.
A legal note fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any of
Well, you
these.
don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals to the? Are there criminal
How
referrals?
would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally are. There's been no investigation from the Justice Department.
How do you know that?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not
Now
asking
I'm asking you.
Oh, yes, I love it. Guys, do you realize that Biden could never do an interview like this? Because he's right. Terry Moran made the thing saying there have been no referrals. And he's like, how do you know? And he's like, well, he's like, no, really, how do you know? And he's like, well, now I'm asking you a question. He's like, no, you made the statement. Now you're trying to ask me a question, guys. This is what I'm talking about, baby. This right here is what we voted for. And again, too, guys, even when I'm showing you too on screen, this is what we voted for. USDA program director pled guilty to kickback scheme. This is all the stuff that they didn't want us to know. They didn't want us to know that there was people in the government getting kickbacks, fraud, waste, and abuse. And now when we have Kirk Perry, who pled guilty to money, property, and an honest service wire fraud, they said this wasn't happening. They said it didn't exist. They didn't want Doge looking at anything. But what we have found out is that we cannot trust anybody in the deep state, anybody in the Democratic Party right now when it comes to some of this, because they are lying through their teeth.
It's a statement that you made. There have been.
Asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
Ooh.
I haven't seen an anchor look so clueless since Leslie Stahl said the laptop wasn't real. If ABC was smart, they'd have Stephen A. do the interview.
You think Vladimir Putin wants peace?
I think he does, yes. I think he does. I think because
even with the raining missiles
I think he really, his dream was to take over the whole country. I think because of me, he's not going to do that.
Do you trust him? Do you trust him?
I don't trust you. I don't trust a lot of people. I don't trust you. Look at you. You come in all shooting for bear. You're so happy to do the interview.
I am
and
happy.
Then you start hitting me with fake questions.
Ooh.
Putin carved up Ukraine on Biden's watch. Moscow went in hard after they saw Joe blow the Afghan withdrawal. Trump just got a mineral deal and has the Russians negotiating for peace.
Yes.
And ABC's acting like the president's getting played.
And that's the big news this morning, too, as well, everybody. We called it yesterday. We said as soon as they sign the peace deal, Russia's going to be calling Trump saying, hey, all right, we're ready to let's just do the deal. Let's sign the deal, whatever we've got, because Trump said it. They're not going to attack Ukraine with American people in Ukraine mining for minerals. They've already said that the meetings are happening. They've already said that this is a peace deal is going to happen probably by the end of May. But again, Trump knew what he was doing. Let's get the mineral deal worth $500 billion, guys, to the American people in pure revenue, and let's make sure to end the war.
Every question came from a place of hate.
I'm going to ask you, if I may, do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again.
Yes.
We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across a stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst, I have to be honest with you.
Thank you for the...
Boom, man. Calls him out, guys. And let me tell you this. I told you that like something's going off with the Democratic Party. They're so bad right now. no filter whatsoever. They're now letting us know that everything that they do is bought and paid for. There is no true protests that are actually happening, guys. Want to say thank you so much, Della Cole, for the super chat. Let's go. Said, I think more than one person had their hands on the auto pin. What do y'all think? 100%. Y'all show Della some love in the chat. Guys, listen to this, because I'm telling you, we all knew it. We saw the buses coming in. The Democrats tried to say, no, those are your constituents. Listen to this.
See Democrats protesting. Are the people there paid? Let's bring in Adam Swart, the founder of a group called Crowds on Demand. If I have to pay you to show up, you are not legit. You are a plant.
You're paid for your views. Tucker Carlson is paid for his views. Rachel Maddow is paid for her views. Is it not then reasonable to say that a protester can't be paid a few $100s to go out to a rally to support a cause that they agree with? Any protest that Crowds on Demand does is peaceful, law-abiding. We don't vandalize buildings. We don't block roads without a permit, right? These are peaceful, articulate, passionate demonstrators.
See Democrats protesting.
Y'all hear that, guys? Paid, like these protesters are paid for. So when you see the left-wing media putting it out, these people ain't real. They don't truly care about what the cause is. They just care about getting paid, couple $100. I've seen it. They've put it on Craigslist, all this stuff, $150 for 2 hours of paid protest. That's why whenever you see it, it hits 12 o'clock. It hits 1 o'clock. When they're out there, they are gone in a heartbeat. Why? Because they're paid. They don't care. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Check this out.
It is a sad reflection on the state of our media and many of the outlets represented in this room that you obsessively try to shill for this MS-13 terrorist with no coverage occurred in your papers about any of the Americans that were raped and tortured and murdered by the illegals that Biden was importing into our country. You know, you talk about due process. The Biden administration made the decision.
Right there, Stephen Miller. And here's where I love Stephen. No bedside manner. You're getting it with the bark on right there. But man, remember, he ain't reading a script. He's not looking off a screen. That comes from the heart and the brain because he's worked on this project as a grundoon on Michelle Bachmann's staff in the summer of 2013, I believe it was, 2013. Is Michelle Bachmann and Steve King, and I'm talking 2 or 3 people in the House, maybe 5 total, that held off an amnesty onslaught. That was, you had Sergio, you had Miller, and then later in the Senate was Sessions, beat back all of the Bush effort, all the Republican establishment effort. This guy knows it. The first policy staffer ever to go on the Trump campaign in September of 15. I mean, maybe it was December 15, early 16, as really the first, as a speechwriter and policy guy, when they had like 3 or 4 people on the plane, Corey, Hope, and a couple others. Miller knows it. He's now Deputy White House Chief of Staff for Policy. He knows these policies. You're getting it right there. The confronting of the crises that's afflicted America, right? That's ripped our greatness away from us. And that's why you've seen what I call this summer now, this phase 2, the convergence of these crises are coming together because that's part of the resistance. Want to go to amazing piece. Charles Benoit joins us. Coalition for Prosperous America. These are original gangsters when it comes, these are OGs when it comes to bringing manufacturing jobs back to the United States. You guys have been fighting on this for a long time. Charles, normally the American Conservative is not a place I think I was going to see an article like yours, if we can get it up. You gave a 100-day assessment, but it was most detailed look at really where it's like a Dave Walsh presentation. This is no happy talk. You get down deep into the math. You get deep into where exactly we stand.
Let's go.
What's your report card? Give a summary for the audience, because we're going to push this article out. I want everybody over the weekend to take your time and read this thing. Where do you think we stand with this, and how's the president and his team doing?
So saying even 10 out of 10 wouldn't be doing it justice. I was a cynic before President Trump. I thought we were going to have to wait for, World War III to ever get this kind of reindustrialization drive. America industrialized once, and it was after we were cut off from European trade back in the Napoleonic Wars. That we industrialized once, and then we deindustrialized once. And, it really was. You go back to Jefferson's Embargo Act. I thought we were going to have to wait for another war. So the fact that the American people voted for a pro-tariff president in peacetime, and the fact that we're getting this in peacetime, wow, that's so, you have to give so much credit to President Trump right off the top for even trying to do what he's doing. Now,
okay, hang on.
If you follow the headline,
hang on, full stop, because I got Walsh here, who's my guru on. We've deindustrialized on the energy side for this weird cult of greenness. Walk me through. I'm gonna keep you into the next hour. Walk me through when you say we went through a process of deindustrialization. Tell the audience specifically what that is and what's the impact been.
Yeah, so people like to think we started deindustrializing in the 80s. Look, it actually started in 1934. Okay, that is when I call that year zero. That's when Congress handed over the tariff authority to presidents. We've never had a good president on trade until President Trump. So some industries...
Guys, just think about it. Since 1970, we have lost 90,000. 90,000. Think about it. Factories and warehouses and manufacturing. That is insane. And now we finally have a president who has a backbone to say, we're going to build America. We're going to be self-reliant. We're going to make sure that we can be reliant upon ourselves, like what Tesla is doing. Tesla builds their products here in America. They manufacture them. They design them. They do all that in Texas, all around the United States. And what I love, guys, is this. It's so crazy. This just broke minutes ago that I'm telling you, everybody's trying to go after them. Right now, the Wall Street Journal yesterday reported that Tesla was searching for a new CEO. Despite denials from the company saying, we're not searching for a new CEO. Elon Musk is our CEO. Well, guess what? Tesla stock dived after Wall Street Journal published that because everybody started getting nervous about the stock. Well, now Elon Musk is saying, Wall Street Journal, you owe us $36 billion because you printed something that was false. You are manipulating the market just because you don't like me. Guys, this is accountability right here. And this is the man who can hold him accountable. I'm tired of seeing all these left-wing media, all these news shows lying, and then manipulating people. And this stuff happens. But finally, we got people like Elon Musk, like Donald Trump, who can stand up to them and hold them accountable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
We lost in the 1950s, bicycling, flatware. They were very quick to go. Steel, lost huge market share, and it's been a slow bleed out ever since World War II. One after another, the global multilateral trading system, the GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, it has all these little things kind of slow the bleed out. And so we've had all of these little tariff actions over the last 75 years, anti-dumping, countervailing duties, that kind of thing, safeguards, buy this factory a few more years. But it's been a steady, slow bleed out. And not just in manufacturing, agriculture too. We are now a net food importer. That happened under President Biden. So it's a catastrophic situation. And again, hats off to the president for trying to turn the ship around.
What is the logic, though? Tell me, what's the industrial logic of why this happens over a period of time? Is it because of they're looking for cheap labor, cheap energy sources? Why do we go through a process of deindustrialization? Who benefits?
That's an excellent question, and many, a lot of the people, okay, we have to flag one that a lot of people don't pick up on, which is international creditors. So after World War I, we became a net creditor nation. Our Wall Street, they lent all this money to Europe to rebuild. It was a real problem. There was not enough dollars. It's hard to imagine it nowadays, but there was not enough dollars circulating overseas for U.S. lenders to get repaid. And it wasn't just banks, but even our largest multinationals. We were the world's factory at the turn of the 20th century, and we are exporting because we make the best stuff. And people have owed us money all over the world. They didn't have dollars to repay. That was a major driver. In the 1950s, the Department of Commerce, even the Department of Commerce, had programs to actively promote imports so that more dollars would be sent overseas and those they would then have dollars to repay their U.S. debts. So that was a driving factor. Then also the labor movement, right? The labor movement really took off in the early 20th century. And that's when you have big manufacturers being like, oh my gosh, well, maybe I should offshore. There was that. And then those were in the early...
Guys, let me tell you this. If people are not getting fed up with all the lies, look at this, guys. Again, check this out. China blames the United States for the origin of COVID-19. Now, it's crazy to say that what has come out is that the United States, Anthony Fauci, gain of function, used taxpayer dollars to fund a lab in Wuhan, China that created the COVID-19 virus. And then now we're investigating that. And this is where this comes out, which is what you're about to see next. Anthony Fauci could face perjury charges as DNI Tulsi Gabbard assembles a team to investigate the origins of COVID-19. Gabbard pointed out that this may be why Fauci received a preemptive presidential pardon from Joe Biden on January 20th, just hours before Biden left office, guys. This is nuts. Michael Wilson, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Michael some love in the chat. With what I'm about to show you next, guys, this is finally accountability. Director of National Intelligence, the person who's got access to it all, letting us know what's about to happen next and holding these people accountable. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, check this out.
Reversed. So it's a lot of what's been found is already there. But the thing that we are working with Jay Bhattacharya, the new NIH director, on with, as well as Secretary Kennedy, is looking at the gain of function research that, in the case of the Wuhan lab, as well as many of these other biolabs around the world, was actually U.S. funded, and leads to this dangerous kind of research that in many examples has resulted in either a pandemic or some other major health crisis.
Well, let me ask you specifically, because we already know that EcoHealth Alliance was partnering with this Wuhan lab to do gain of function research.
That's right.
We just have never been able to have somebody say, it was that exact experiment that led to this COVID bug. But have we gotten there? What's the new thing that you're digging in on?
We are working on that with Jay Bhattacharya, and look forward to being able to share that hopefully very soon.
Okay.
That specific
link,
correct, between the gain of function research and what we saw with COVID-19.
I mean, that would be extraordinary, because just so the audience knows, if that's true, if it was Peter Daszak's research with the Wuhan so-called bat lady that caused this pandemic, then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
Things that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right, under oath.
Under oath, exactly. So is it any wonder that he sought a preemptive pardon for anything during a certain period of time by President Biden before he left office?
And then strong-armed and smeared people like Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, anybody who came out and said, I don't know if that's natural. This actually smacks of lab.
And the reason why this is so important is not just what happened in the past. It's because this gain of function research is happening in biolabs around the world. I got attacked, and I think you saw this. We've probably talked about it on your show before, when I warned against U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine when the Russia-Ukraine war kicked off for this very reason. Who knows what kinds of pathogens are in these labs, and if released, could create another COVID-like pandemic. And for that, I was called a Russian asset. You're, trumpeting Putin's talking points, all of this nonsense, simply for speaking the truth and stating facts that, by the way, are still on U.S. Embassy Ukraine's website today about how the U.S. has funded these biolabs in Ukraine. But my point is, in order to prevent another COVID-like pandemic or another major health incident that could affect us in the world, we have to end this gain of function research and provide the evidence that shows exactly why and how it's in our best interest, the American people's best interest, to bring about an end to it.
Can I just ask you,
guys? And what's crazy is this: as much times as Anthony Fauci testified before Congress, as much times as we tried to bring the truth. We were under Democratic regime, so that means that we couldn't really do anything because the votes weren't there. And now that we knew we were going to have the votes, because we have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, Biden pardons Fauci just hours, guys. We're not talking about days. We're not talking about weeks or months. Hours before he officially was not the president. You cannot tell me that there's no corruption there. There's no cover up there. You would have to be naive to think that something wrong is not there, guys. There's too much that we have that shows that something happened with that man. Deborah Tate, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Deborah some love in the chat.
One other question on that. Why did the intelligence community, why were they so reluctant to just say that? You know, under Joe Biden, it was split. The FBI eventually said, well, we kind of think it was the lab. And Department of Energy said lab. But then the other agencies were like, no, we think more natural origin. Long past the point when it did not look like natural origin. They tested 80 or 90,000 animals. They never found this version of the virus. So what was going on with the intel community there?
It's a good question, and I don't have a specific answer to it, but I want to point to the contrast of how in some cases, they are very unwilling to come to express a view or a certain opinion on something. And in other cases, even if they don't have decisive or conclusive evidence per se, they're very quickly to come to an assumption. And this gets to the real heart of the challenge here, and the problems that we've seen is the politicization of intelligence to meet a certain objective or to influence a certain policy. And that is what has been the problem. This goes all the way back to why this organization was founded. When you look at the so-called intelligence that really was used to spur the Iraq regime change war. And look at what that has cost our country in lives, in treasure. Look at what it's cost the world. Look at what Iraq is today, now essentially a proxy of Iran. When Iraq, that would not have happened had that regime change war not occurred. So again, this is really what is at the heart of what needs to be addressed within the intelligence community and why leadership matters so much.
Just as a reminder to our audience, you were a young 21-year-old.
Guys, let me tell you this. This, to me, blows my mind right now. Because we are finally being able to actually hold people accountable. But there's preemptive pardons, which, again, remember, there's nothing in the Constitution that says anything about a preemptive pardon. And that's where we have to say, what is going on? What are we going to do about it? Trump already said that they're void and they don't count, but people are tired of the lying. Guys, what I'm about to show you next, look, I'm not that big a fan of Bill O'Reilly, but I thank him for saying, you know what? I'm tired of people lying straight out on the news and then people take it for just 100% fact and it's not true. Listen to this.
I would not extend these billionaires' tax cuts, and I would not pay for them by clobbering the middle class and the lower middle class by cutting Medicaid expenses, of which
he said he wasn't going to cut Medicaid.
Go watch the budget that's been submitted. It's already got 600. He said he was going to end the war.
There's nothing about cutting Medicaid in the budget.
Did he say or not say? Did he say I'm not? Did he say or not say I'm going to end the Ukraine war?
It's a bunch of bull, and you know it. No, you can't. You can't say it's in the budget. There's a Medicaid cut when there isn't.
Excuse me for speaking while you interrupted me.
I am. This is ridiculous. And he does it every night.
Can I make a point?
Yes, go ahead.
He was going to end the Ukraine war on day one.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
it's absurd. What did Biden do for 4 years in there? Nothing.
Didn't drive me nuts. He said he was going to end the Ukraine war.
Can't tell by your demeanor.
Please fact check me. Somebody look it up on your cell phone. Did Trump say I'm going to end the Ukraine war on day one?
And I was going to wear an LSU T-shirt, but I'm not now.
You don't have to.
Can I ask a quick question?
We'll get over it.
You got to fight to get into this. I'm not going to fight.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, again, people are fed up. How many times do they get to lie? This is the thing. No matter what they say about all the polling numbers, guys, I love to bring you the facts of what's actually happening and how people actually feel, guys. And I love it when I get to show you from our friend this dude who's very eccentric in his news telling on CNN that guess what? Even after 100 days, people still choose Donald Trump over Kamala Harris, baby. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, check this out.
Who'd be doing a better job as president? Guess who comes out on top? Within the margin of error, but comes out on top. This looks a lot like the election result, right? Trump 45%, 2 points ahead of Harris at 43%. 12% say they'd be doing about the same. But this is the key nugget here. It's not just about regretting that vote. It's literally saying who would be doing the better job right now. And Trump continues to score a higher percentage of the vote than Kamala Harris. This looks a heck of a lot like the election result. We have just seen this in poll after poll after poll. Despite the fact that Trump's favorable ratings aren't too hot to trot, when he's matched up against who he was matched up in 2024, he still, across the polls, scores a higher percentage than Kamala Harris does.
Even if they don't know exactly what she would have done, they still went for Donald Trump. Okay, what about when he's matched up against congressional Democrats who we know have had some pretty rough numbers?
Yeah, they have had some pretty rough numbers. So Kamala Harris obviously doesn't hold elected office right now, but Democrats in Congress sure do. So who do you trust more on the U.S. main problems, the main problems in the United States? Well, what do we have here? It's the same exact picture, folks. It's the same exact picture. When you match Donald Trump against his actual competition, Donald Trump comes out ahead. Look at this, 40% to congressional Democrats, 32%. Going to make a big circle here. But the bottom line is, when you look at Donald Trump in a vacuum, it's one thing. But when you actually match him up against folks in the real world, all of a sudden his numbers look considerably better. And when you match him up against it...
I love it, guys. Do you not love it that whenever all these people, and I got something really special to show you next, guys. Whenever they look at Trump individually, it's like, okay, you know, he's taking a little hit. But no matter what, anytime you put him up against the Democrats, everybody's like, you know what? Democrats suck. We choose Donald Trump, baby. This is our president still kicking the Democrats' butt right now.
Main competition at this point, Democrats in Congress, he is more trusted on the main problems facing the United States right now. In fact, it's not even close. It's an 8-point advantage, which in this politics, well, that's a wide ocean.
It's huge and maybe tells the Democrats that their messaging is not working at this point in time. All right, speaking of the big issues, which party is better trusted when it comes to things like the economy and immigration still?
Right, okay, so we kind of talk about it a little bit up here when we match up Donald Trump against the Democrats in Congress. But what about the parties up against each other, right? Donald Trump has not seen those favorable polls when it comes to the economy, when it comes to immigration. But look here, which party has a better plan? And this is the margin among registered voters. Look at this on immigration. The GOP crushes the Democrats. Look at that. That's a 19-point edge. My goodness.
And guys, if you haven't noticed yet on that bottom, corner, this is CNN. Don't you love it? They're being able to report that, guess what? Americans choose Donald Trump.
You rarely ever see leads like that in politics these days.
You
rarely. How about on the
rarely.
economy, where Donald Trump's numbers have been struggling a little bit, but even there, Republicans hold a 9-point lead. If Democrats think that at this particular point, just because Donald Trump is unpopular, that they're going to run away with it like a Heisman Trophy winner, that is not necessarily the case. These numbers should be a major wake-up call for Democrats. Despite Donald Trump's unpopularity in the polls, when you actually go up against him and you put Democrats' names against him, when you put Republicans as a whole up against him, Republicans and Donald Trump do considerably better. And that is why Democrats, in fact, cannot count their chickens just yet, because those eggs have not cracked at this particular moment.
I think you said the pivotal thing. The important
Guys, they people don't trust him anymore. They're done with it. I want to show you this. This is why, probably one of the most important reasons why, in just as perfect as it could be, guys, you could not ask for a better clip of the truth of what is happening with the Democratic Party, their transparency, what is happening with their trust with the American people. Listen to this right here. Want to say real quick, Judy Lynn, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said, please continue to pray for President Trump, Cabinet, and Elon for their safety. Amen. And Michelle Lindsay, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, love those numbers. America first, baby. Y'all show Michelle and Judy Lynn some love in the chat. Guys, listen to this. This is why the Democratic Party is losing so badly right now. It's because nobody believes them.
Americans are noticing. The polls this week showed Trump has the lowest 100-day approval rating since they started polling.
Right there. Trump has the lowest 100-day approval rating since they started polling.
80 years ago, the lowest. Even worse, 72% of Americans think it's likely that Trump's handling of the economy will walk us directly into a recession.
All right. You heard that, right? He just said, you know what? Trump sucks because the polling says he sucks. People don't trust him. Now listen to this. Same interview, just moments later.
People who hate what Trump is proposing. Yes.
There's a poll out today that has your approval ratings lower than any other congressional leader at 17%.
He just said there's a poll out today that shows that your approval rating, Chuck Schumer, is the lowest that anybody's ever seen at 17%. Listen to what he says.
Are you concerned that you may be a liability for your party?
Polls come and go. Our party is united. We're on our front foot. We're stepping forward, going after Trump, and having real success.
Did you hear what he said? Polls come and go, but we're united. Such a big hypocrite. Right? Guys, they don't care anymore. This is what blows my mind, is that moments later, when getting asked the same exact question about polling, he just used polling to put Trump down, but now polling doesn't matter when it comes to him having the lowest approval rating out of any Senate minority leader ever. He's like, oh, polls come and go. We don't care about that. That's why the American people say, you know what? We don't want you anymore. And even worse, listen to this.
I've heard politicians on Capitol Hill saying, I'm here just to disagree and oppose every damn thing Trump wants to do. Well, why are you up on Capitol Hill? Ain't you supposed to be figuring out what you want to be against and what you could potentially be for? Isn't he known as a deal maker? Hasn't he been, whether it's revered or insulted, as a non-politician? Hasn't he been somebody that gives you the impression, if you're complimentary towards him about some things that he does, and you're willing to sit down and talk with him, he will sit up there and appease you just the way he would ask you to appease him? If you're not willing to talk and work across the aisle on Capitol Hill, what the hell are you up there for?
Ooh.
So that is what came to my mind. You have to work with people you dislike, people you disagree with, people who you know in your core, in your core, do not have you, nor your communities, nor your constituencies' best interests at heart. You still have to work with them.
Yes.
If Cuomo wins the mayoral seat in New York City, Andrew Cuomo, you think he's not going to try to work with the Trump White House? Josh Shapiro is the governor of Pennsylvania. Westmore is the governor of Maryland. You think they're not going to try to work with Trump and his White House to get things done, even though they're going to speak against him on certain issues?
Guys, is this not common sense? Remember, he's Democrat, and he's right now one of the persons leading in being a Democrat presidential nominee because he's talking like this. Common sense.
You can't have this closed-door, closed-minded, resolute belief that allows you the excuse to remain stagnant, therefore ineffective in doing your job. That's my issue with politicians.
But again, does he not sound... Remember I told you there was going to be something that comes out of the Democratic Party that is not the Democratic Party, something new. And this is what we're seeing right now, guys. We're seeing a person like Stephen A. Smith, a sports commentator, coming out with common sense mentality. That's why he's leading in the polls when it comes to the 2028 election of running for president, guys. That's why, because people want to see common sense. They say, look, we know you're Democrat, we know you're Republican, but dang it, we need some common sense. And that's something that if we can't have common sense, what are we even trying to do here, guys? And what I love, again, too, the more that we keep putting out the news, guys, the more that we bring the facts, we bring you the truth, and you can fact check our receipts all day, every day. Check this.
Maybe the biggest thing we're working on, maybe bigger than tariffs in a certain sense, is we call it the one big beautiful bill. The Democrats are trying to stop it at every every turn. It would mean a 58% tax hike if they were successful, and lots of other bad things beyond the tax hike. But with us, it'll be the biggest tax cut in American history. How are we doing with the bill?
We're doing great. We're day in, day out, hour by hour negotiations to make sure your stuff is in there.
Well, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich joins me now. Newt, it looks like the president finally is really turning up the heat on Congress to get the bill done.
Yes.
Just in time, right?
Well, look, I think, first of all, this is all normal. This is the Constitution at work. The House has a set of ideas. The Senate has a set of ideas. They have to negotiate. Ultimately, they'll come to an agreement. The president is absolutely committed, as is Speaker Johnson, to getting this thing done early. And I would say to any Republican who doesn't get it, this is really about the 2026 election.
Yes.
You need to pass this bill this summer in order to be in a position
to win next year.
You can, in fact.
Guys, I got to show you this breaking news. It just popped off 2 minutes ago, guys. Oh my goodness. Do you remember we showed you that this dude, Representative Shri the Naders, who's an Indian immigrant who has come and now is holding a federal representative seat trying to impeach Donald Trump. Well, guess what? Multiple House Democrats have withdrawn support for Representative Shri impeachment effort against President Trump. Guys, it is such a joke right now, guys. Nobody's taking these people serious. Nobody's taking this dude serious. And what I love is that didn't take long. What, 2 days? People see the writing on the wall. People do not trust the Democrats.
Get the economy rolling so that next year you have a Trump boom in the context of which people will reelect the Republican House and increase the number of Republicans in the Senate. The more you delay it, if you delay it past early summer, say June, it gets into September, I think you run a real risk that it won't take effect fast enough to be helpful next year, and that would be a disaster for the president and for the Republicans.
Right. Well, what you were talking about normalcy, what's not normal is, just to emphasize once again, we do have a tax hike in December 31st or January 1st, 2026, if in fact they don't do it before then. I mean, the tax cuts of 2017 are going to expire. Plus, we won't get those tax cuts that the president campaigned on in the election.
Right. Therefore, I suspect, given President Trump's performance up to now, at some point they'll find an agreement in the House.
Right.
And I have to say, Speaker Johnson has done an extraordinary job of listening to everybody. So they'll keep reshaping it till they get to the number of votes to pass. Then they'll get to the Senate, where Senator Toons done a darn good job as the majority leader so far. They'll have to do some stuff. They'll probably have to go to conference. And they'll probably bring out a bill slightly different than either the House or the Senate, and then they'll have to pass it. And at each stage, my personal hope is that the president will barnstorm the country. There are at least 10 districts that he carried that have Democrats, and to have him go into those districts, have 50 or 60,000 people at a rally, explain the bill. Remember, the Republicans increase spending on Medicaid every year. Anyone who tells you they're cutting Medicaid is lying, whether it's the news media or the Democrats. So we need the president driving that kind of message home. The bill will then be acceptable. It'll pass and he'll sign it.
Yeah, quickly, Newt, we don't...
Guys, let me tell you why this is so important. Look at this. Johnson and top House Republicans huddle with Trump on the big agenda bill. Why? Because we have found out that there's 2 huge subcommittees that literally haven't even met or agreed upon the core fundamentals of the reconciliation bill. In Trump, this is the second time, guys, this week that Trump said, Johnson, grab the leaders, get your butt to the White House, and we need to hammer this out because y'all aren't moving fast enough, guys. The second time this week. This is what makes me so upset, because they went on a 2-week vacation, they got nothing done, and now Trump is having to be on their butts to make sure that they get this reconciliation bill passed within a reasonable time to take effect so that people can feel the effects of what Trump is trying to do with his agenda. Because if we don't do it fast enough, we're going to lose the midterms. We have to have, people have to be able to feel it in their pockets. They have to be able to feel it when they go spend their money, that Trump's agenda is working. And if they don't, we will lose. And then they're going to try to impeach Trump for real again. Chris Morey, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. And thank you so much, B1 Sly One, for the super chat, who said they choose data from crooked pollsters who survey 75% of Democrats, 15% of independents, and 10% of conservatives. Conservatives work and don't answer poll calls. That's true. I never answer them. Angela Broom, thank you for the super chat. And Bookmark, thank you so much. GL Poffreyman, thank you so much for the super chat. Bookmark said, never underestimate the Democrats. They've had billions to subvert the judicial branch and education. Trump is fighting. We need to be smarter. 100%. I agree. Y'all show them some love in the chat. But guys, this is not about being smart. This is just about getting your butt to work. Trump has been working night and day. Trump hasn't taken a vacation. Why did they deserve a 2-week vacation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. This makes me so upset. Trump has not taken a day off. He's been busting butt. But why did all of a sudden Congress take 2 weeks off?
I don't have time to run the soundbite, but the president yesterday spoke about how important that meeting at the Vatican was with Zelensky in order to pass the minerals deal with Ukraine. How ironic is that in the Vatican, in the biggest house of peace we have in the whole world, they came up with a deal to end a war.
Let's go.
You know, Callisto was the ambassador to the Vatican.
Yeah, I remember.
I think that Pope Francis would think it was wonderful that a step towards peace occurred in St. Peter's. The picture is iconic of the two of them sitting right there in the middle of St. Peter's. And I tell you, it's a signal to Putin. His whole stupid strategy is blowing up. Instead of driving all the way to Ukraine's European border, he's now going to have Americans working on minerals on the Russian border. It's the opposite of what he wanted, and it's going to get worse the longer he avoids
it really typifies the thinking out of the box mentality that the Trump administration, led of course by Donald Trump himself, have. They think out of the box. A great financial deal that creates peace that the last administration couldn't find. Newt Gingrich, you got to leave it at that.
Guys, let me tell you this. I'm telling you, like, a lot of these networks, they're coming around. They know what gets the ratings, and the ratings is that people are tired of hearing these news anchors fight for illegal criminals and fight for the justice of these illegal criminals instead of actually Americans. This argument got so intense during this debate, guys. They literally had to cut to a commercial because this is what drives the ratings, but they're sounding too much like Fox, if that makes any sense, guys. Listen to this and enjoy.
Years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any process at all, and now you're trying to gum up the works to keep them here.
A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came in.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November
Abrego
polling
Garcia
showed Donald back. Trump won the
That's
election.
CNN polling.
The
public is shifting.
All right.
We are a sovereign nation, and you cannot just come into our country illegally whenever the heck you want, because we can't do it to any other country on the face of this earth.
Asylum is a legal right.
If you come in illegally, you have to leave. Americans are tired of that. We do not have unlimited resources.
You know who was here illegally with a deportation order? Marco Rubio's grandfather.
All right,
We're not talking about Marco Rubio.
Oh, now we're not? Now that's not relevant?
It's not relevant.
No, I'm talking about Marco
It's
Rubio
not relevant to
because
this
Marco
conversation
Rubio
at all.
used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used to be
I'm not
an
Marco
advocate
Rubio,
for Nicaraguans and
my
Cubans.
beliefs.
No, I know you're
If you come
not.
into this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think
in
a
this
lot of
country
Americans
to take care of other
There's
people.
a hell of a lot of people, other than the black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're
A
not
lot
the
of
same as
different-
black people who were brought here against
That's
our will.
exactly what I
They
just said.
decided
I
to
said
walk
there is
their
a
butts
lot of
across the
people
border. There's a
other
big
than the
difference.
black
There is
people.
a big difference.
That's
Hold on.
exactly what I
There's a
just
big
said.
difference,
That's Share Michael,
exactly what I just
Share
said, Sir Michael.
and
Look and act indignant. That's exactly what I just said.
Acting
Let me just Share Michael.
That's other than the black
Guys, do you see what's happening? CNN can't help but put these conservatives on there because without them, guess what? Nobody watches CNN. And now it's getting so heated between a person who is conservative, American first, versus somebody who says, let them all stay. They need to be able to stay here. Guys, I love this. This banter shows you that people's common sense is starting to win out because this is what people want to see. They want to see America first policies.
And Share Michael, please.
There are a lot of people from many
I think you
countries
actually
that came
misheard
here
what
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely
Yes, she
misheard it.
did.
So now you're in my
Share
brain?
Michael, listen to me for just a second.
Is that where we're going?
You
Share
think
Michael.
I would say I have advocated
Anna,
for black
please
people
stop.
my entire life and
Anna,
say something like that?
Anna,
Give me a
Because
damn
you've
break.
advocated for black
Anna,
people,
please
great.
stop.
Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not.
Okay, Share Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino and my people are being racially profiled.
It is.
And
And do I have to remind you the history of my people?
Share
Do I
Michael.
want to go there?
No, I don't.
Do you really
Okay,
want to go
we're
there?
gonna
Never
go to break.
had
know the
that?
history.
Raul, we're gonna go to
You know
break.
why?
Raul
Because
Reyes,
it's
thank you very much for
history.
joining us.
Guys, if you love this, let me know your thoughts in the chat. Man, guys, this is nuts. I love it. Why? Because when the Democrats have to deal with common sense, they ain't got no leg to stand on, guys. This is beautiful, and I love it. Why? Because the American people are seeing common sense, baby. That's what we wanted. That's what we voted for. Don't mess with the United States. President Trump says any country that buys oil from Iran cannot do business with the United States. He said, no, we're cutting them off. We don't want them having any nuclear weapons. We don't want them getting any uranium. We want to choke them out in terms of their financial economy. They're all about the oil. Guess what? We're cutting off their revenue source. That's how Trump plays. He's put out a super massive tweet that says, we're not playing any games anymore. You're going to follow our rules. We're going to have peace in the world, or you're going to feel the wrath of the United States of America. That is FAFO, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Lady Trucker, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said True Life News supporters from the Colorado, those vacations were on purpose to delay Trump's agenda. The MAGA movement, great job. True Life News for all your hard work. Lady Trucker, thank you so much for the super chat. Show her some love in the chat, everybody. Again, guys, I get so happy to show you this stuff because, again, too, it's undeniable. Common sense is winning out. It is undeniable that under Trump, America is 100 times better. Listen to this.
President, congratulations on this truly historic first 100 days of your administration, really only made possible by your focused leadership on delivering the mandate the American people gave you. You've empowered all of us to deliver that mandate, and I'm grateful to have the privilege of leading the intelligence community towards ending the weaponization and politicization of the intelligence community that's gone on for far too long. And building out what is truly a lean and agile and effective intelligence community that is helping you deliver that promise to the American people of safety, security, and freedom. So, Mr. President, I'd like to highlight just 3 of the areas where we are hoping to support your leadership and your work in making America safe again and bringing about these changes. First of all, because of your designation of cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, I took immediate action with our National Counterterrorism Center to prioritize their focus on those terrorists and gang members who are trying to enter our country through legal or illegal means, and to seek out those who already are here in our country because of the Biden administration's 4 years of open borders. We've been working very closely with your great Attorney General's team at the DEA to get these known cartels into our systems, to be able to stop them at the border, and turning over names to Department of Homeland Security and the FBI to be able to find those who are already here in our country. Just the other day, we found 700 alien terrorists who have ties to MS-13,
Tren de Aragua and the Sinaloa cartel. Just yesterday, our NCTC identified almost 600 individuals with ties to other terrorists who came through our borders illegally, claimed asylum, and under the Biden administration were paroled here within our borders. Secondly, Mr. President, like too many organizations in the federal government, the ODNI has become very bloated with too much waste and abuse going on within the organization. We've done a few immediate steps. We are doing more. The ODNI is 25% smaller and more lean today than it was when I walked in the door and when you took office. Secondly, we have just this morning actually shut down a human capital office. As soon as you issued the executive order to stop all DEI activities, we did that, shut down the DEI office. We discovered this human capital office that was essentially a slush fund for DEI initiatives, hidden under the guise of human capital, that closed down this morning, saving taxpayers $150 million. We'll soon be announcing an additional two.
Guys, again, it's like a lot of people are like, man, are they really making a difference? Yes. Think about it. If every day, 365 days a year, 150 million here, 200 million there, $500 million there, that adds up, guys. Why do you think we're $37 trillion in debt? Because they have been doing the opposite for the past 30, 40 years. Oh, let's spend 100 million here, 150 million there, 200 million there. And it racked up. So when I hear of any types of savings, I get super excited.
$6 billion in savings with other programs and contracts that do nothing to ensure our national security interests. And lastly, we're working every day to hold the deep state accountable, to end the politicization, weaponization of the intelligence community. This past week, I sent 3 criminal referrals for illegal and unauthorized leaks to the media of classified intelligence for prosecution. We have 11 more that are under investigation. We've revoked, at your direction, 67 security clearances, and we continue the work of declassifying documents, as we have already around the JFK assassination. We have more coming for the assassination of Bobby's father, Senator Kennedy, and MLK assassination. And we continue our extensive investigations around exposing the very serious issues we have related to election integrity, illegal abuses of FISA, Crossfire Hurricane, and others. Mr. President, under your leadership, we are working every day to bring about that transparency and accountability that the American people deserve. So thank you for that opportunity. Great.
Boom, baby. And that's what I love. Guys, Trump holds a meeting and says, all right, it's been 100 days. What have you done? Let everybody know, because we're going to hold everybody accountable. That's how it's done, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers, guys. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family. We want you here, guys. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. And thank you so much to everybody that likes these videos, shares these videos. Guys, we want to get out the truth. We want to bring the full context. We don't want to try to... This is no agenda. This is, hey, this is what is actually happening. And we're usually, guys, we show you things usually a day, 2 days before they ever hit mainstream media, because we're busting our butt to give you the best show possible. Want to say thank you so much, Random Car, for the super chat. And Pamela Harper, welcome to the family. Guys, we thank you so much to all of our members, to everybody that's given a super chat donation. We want to give some love to Irvin Light, Melissa Sedlar, David Sterling, David Della Cole, Michael Wilson, Deborah Tate, Judy Lynn, Loving Spirit, Michelle Lindsay, Chris Morey, B1 Sly One, Angela Broom, Gia Poffreyman, Bookmark, Lady Trucker, let's go, Random Car, and Pamela Harper. Show them some love in the chat, guys. We got so much going on. We love you all. Appreciate you so much. And again, thank you so much, Lady Trucker, with the super chat. Said Johnson and Thune must go. I concur. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. We love you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.